right, testing, shalom, shalom. We good? All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. We're gonna start by giving infinite honors and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem Harakakadash. That's the Heavenly Father and His Son, by their true Hebrew names, and what you so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes must call on to be saved. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone, who are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last seconds of time. Mighty Shalom, Shalom. And as the title of the lesson, GMS in the news, the earth is on fire with prophecy. All right, and ultimately, as these things come to pass, as the scriptures say, could you get it in Peter's out? What manner of conversation should we be in? Seeing that these things should be dissolved, what manner of conversation should we be in? What mode of action, what method of action should we be taking in these times? The scriptures say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual, through the pulling down of strongholds. And that's what the Lord ultimately, whom the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ, have done across the planet Earth by raising up prophets in His holy name. You got it, huh?
All right. This is 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm gonna start at 10. All right, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
Could you read it one more time, Baba Kushel?
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
That's right, and that's talking about the Third World War, which will be nuclear, all right, pertaining to Isaiah 9 and 5, all right? This shall be with fueling fire, all right? So that's one thing that we acknowledge and we're aware of that promotes our mode of action. Go ahead, Art.
It says, the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
That's right, and that's another thing that we acknowledge that promotes our mode of action. Knowing that those nuclear missiles are going to touch down, knowing that the earth and the works are going to be burned up. Could you get it in Corinthians, Art? Or I'll get it where it says the fashion of this world fadeth away. Because we know that when the Lord, all right, promotes these different judgments throughout the planet Earth that He hit ancient Egypt with, when the Lord sends these different plagues, only the remnant, only the elect are going to be passed over, just as it was in ancient Egypt. Because only the elect were in that conversation, that manner, that mode of action that was ultimately halal wa shamar, praying and watching and praying and acting upon it, all right? And I'll get it real quick, guys, just to back you up, and you can speak on it. All right. This is the one I had. All right, this is 1 Corinthians 7 and 31. And they that use this world, Salaki, I started 29, but this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. That's right, and I was just backing up that Peter's because it says, read it one more time, because it says, seeing that these things are going to pass away, basically, what manner of conversation should we be in? Go ahead, Art.
All right. 2 Peter 3, verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
That's right, seeing that all these things should be dissolved. What is our mode of action? This is ultimately our key, our ticket to the kingdom. Lord willing, we be in that number. What is it? It's prophecy. Prophecy is going to literally be spoken of, then it's going to happen in reality. The men of the Lord are going to be raised up in the Lord's name, and we're going to speak of these things, speak of the word and preach it wherever the Lord has raised us up, and then you're going to actually see it in reality. It's going to actually come across your screen. You're going to scroll down. You're going to say, okay, well, an earthquake happened. Oh, well, there's a war in the Middle East. Oh, well, there's martial law. All these things are spoken of in the Bible, but it's only for the remnant to understand. It's only for those that have the eye salve they're going to understand that America is now coming to a conclusion. It's coming to a closing, man. All right, it's concluding, and it's via Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. This is not man-made. Go ahead, up. Precept, you got it.
This is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. And the Lord tells us of the new things that he declares through the mouth of his prophets, his apostles, prophets, the teachers, okay? You know, the men of the Lord, starting with our apostles on down. The Lord always forewarns our people of what he's getting ready to do before he actually does it, okay? And anytime the Lord always sent out a warning to our people that he was going to do this, that, all right, bring forth this plague, take down his kingdom, he always gave our people, a grace period, so to speak, of our people to repent and get right before the Lord brings forth that judgment.
Hey, that's beautiful. You said he always gave our people a grace period, right? Our people. This is Luke 1:68. Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people, and had raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which had been since the world began. And we see that because the Lord ultimately had prophets out and what we call the scriptures speak of as the cool of the day, the time to get right before judgment comes to pass. And so the Lord does in these times, because Lord willing, we are that number were those same prophets that spoke of the coming of our Lord until it actually happened, which is soon to come. We're one event away from triggering the next couple of events that is going to lead to Revelation 13 and 16. All right. What the brothers reading of, the heavens being dissolved, all right, with fervent heat, meaning those nuclear missiles, all right, touching down on the planet Earth, specifically America, and other areas of the planet Earth are going to be nuked as well, like the land of Israel, all right, but ultimately it's going to be the Lord's will. The Lord's will is what's promoting these things to happen on the planet Earth. The Lord's will has these nations pulling out and using the method of de-dollarization to really weaken America, because as America is de-dollarized or its strength is being pulled away from it in its fiat currency, the society is reflecting. The society is getting more and more frantic. Prices are going up, all right? Inflation is going up, okay? The cost of living is going up. Unemployment is rising. So these nations that the brother is about to read about are not only having an effect globally, but we're seeing it in our everyday lives, all right? In the climate of the society. Like what they say, the roof is on fire. That's the climate of the society right now, man. It's up and it's stuck here, man. All right. You got babies crying, ambulances wailing, gunshots going off. All right. The city of confusion is broken down. You got it, huh? Yep.
Bricks pay first.
That's right.
Right. All right. So this is the first article we're going to bring out. Okay. This is from BricsPay.com. Okay, BricsPay.com, and the article goes into, it says, decentralized multi-currency digital international payments system. Okay, it says about BricsPay project. BricsPay is a joint venture between the 5 BRICS countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
One more time, Mark. Read that again.
All right. It says,
this is what it's all about. This is America's opponent. All right. This is the Assembly of Nations, who the Lord, our power, all right, let me get it real quick, who our power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, has assembled against America, this great nation. Right? It's not our Lord doing this. This is Proverbs 21:1, and you got it, all right? This is Proverbs 21:1, and it reads, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Right. All the kings of these different nations, which today will be likened to their presidents, their prime ministers, okay, their leaders, all right, all of their hearts, meaning their minds, are in the hands of Yahweh Shema Shai. Meaning what? The minds of the leaders of these different nations are in total control of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's what the hand represents, okay? And so the fact that you see these nations moving the way they're moving, okay, setting up economic allegiances, such as the BRICS, for example, okay, the different nations, uh, uh, rising up in war against other nations, okay, the nations basically turning against America, Babylon the Great. That's all being done, okay, through the Lord, all right, controlling the minds of the leaders of these nations to do His will. All right, all these things are ultimately a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Okay,
You keep going now.
all right. So it says about BRICS Pay project. BRICS Pay is a joint venture between the five BRICS countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that was launched in 2018 by the BRICS Business Council among the top priorities in the annual report. And then it goes into the team behind the venture consists of individuals from all five countries. This includes experts in payments, banking, technology, and other related fields. They are responsible for developing the platform, creating new features, and providing customer support. Additionally, the team is responsible for managing relationships with partners, governments, and other stakeholders.
And what the brother's going into basically is the system within BRICS, right? How they operate, how they move, and basically they've assembled themselves proudly up against this current society. All right, with their technology, they basically have a new system that they want to pronounce on the planet Earth. And what it's going to go against is America, the current dollar. That's why you have the dollar, which is I don't know what it ranks as on the scale of the strength on the planet Earth, but in the recent years, it has declined on that scale, man. All right, it's weakened. The dollar has weakened. All right, so I got this definition of de-dollarization from off Google. It says de-dollarization refers to countries reducing reliance on the US dollar as a reserve currency, medium of exchange, or as a unit of account. Now, this term de-dollarization was created specifically for America, right? Because America deals with the dollar. So de-dollarization is basically other nations saying, "Hey, we don't want to deal with your policies. We don't want your currency to be the top strength on the planet Earth. So we're gonna assemble a league against you and create our own currency." That's what BRICS has done on the planet Earth. All right. Not only have they done it with their monetary systems, but these countries also possess nuclear capabilities. Okay. So that's why the brother went into it in those different levels in the book of Peter, where it says the elements shall melt with fervent heat, the works therein shall be burnt up. Because it's levels to how the Lord is breaking the society down. It's going to be a war in the heavens. It's going to be a war from realm to realm. That's what the Lord is doing. All right, could you get that in the 2nd Esdras 13 chapter, where the Lord says he's going to have a war on every level? And that's what the Lord is doing. He's going to have a war in the heavens. There's a war currently on the earth. There's a war over the dollar. There's a war over policies. There's a war in the political realm. There's a war on every level. There was a song, I forgot this guy, it's basically, it goes into, it says there's a war out there outside on every corner. Not a war with the bomb and the helicopter swarming, but a war for your soul. That's what everyone's ignoring. All right, so ultimately that's what's going on, man. All right, it's a war for your salvation, man. That's going on, and the higher power is working it all for his will, and his name is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, so it says what happens if de-dollarization happens. It says a depreciated national currency resulting from de-dollarization may lead to increased export competitiveness, benefiting domestic industries. However, it could also lead to higher import costs, potentially affecting consumer prices and triggering inflationary pressures. And that's what you're seeing in the chokehold of what this American economy has provided to us. We're seeing the prices go up. The shelves on the stores are not fully stocked anymore. Everything is all over the place. Everything must go. Stores are closing down. So this mission that BRICS is on is trickling down to the American society. We're seeing it in our everyday lives. When we pick up the telephone, When we scroll down our timelines, when we go to the gas station, we're seeing it, man. This is prophecy. You got it, out. You got it.
Yeah, because
You break it down.
you mentioned about businesses closing down, right? Just earlier today, I was looking on the internet and like, man, you got like so many like major franchises, like major restaurants that that are popular in the country that are just closing down double-digit stores. I saw Buffalo Wild Wings are closing down
Yes, yes.
a bunch of stores around the country.
Hooters.
Yeah.
Hooters was closing down.
Uh, Red Lobster,
Red Lobster. Yep, that's right, brother.
Outback Steakhouse, that's
Yes.
another one.
Now to dive into the brother's question, why are these different fast food restaurants, these different clothing stores, why are they all shutting down? They give quality clothing, right? Quality food, all right? It's beneficial for the society. They got a household name. So why are these different businesses suddenly being unsown? I got it real quick. You can break it down. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Right. So as that verse alluded to, when the sown places start to appear unsown, right? And what is that going into? Crop shortages. Okay. And clearly we've been seeing over the past 3 or 4 years that farmers are basically being outed. You got Esau and the powers that be basically going on these different ranches, farmlands, and paying them to give up their crops and give up their land, all right, and basically bullying them, all right, and it's led to, produce shortages in different stores across America.
That's right.
And now they're even talking about meat shortages, okay, shortage of chicken,
lab-grown meat.
Yeah.
Like, look what they're replacing everything, right? They're not only replacing the dollar, they're trying to replace you as a human being with technology, man. Look what the society. Look at the page that the society is turning, man. All right, they want to put a charagma inside of you. Instead of human labor, they want to place it with technology, robots. All right, they want to place they want to ban the BIBLEs. All right. So everything that makes sense, everything that's moral, that's ethical, that stands for something, aka the Bible, the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the society wants to do away with it. It wants to abolish it. Think about that. All right. The course of nature, the natural order of things, the society wants to abolish it. The natural use of things that the Bible promotes, the society wants to abolish it, wants to take it away. So think about that, man. Then choose wisely. Let your next move be your best move, man. In the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord is telling you this day is going to come as a thief in the night. The Lord is saying, pray and watch. So what should you do? Come on, man. Wake up, Jacob. It's time, man. Something big is about to happen, man. The Lord is sending all these different hurricanes. He's sending extreme temperatures. Mixed with these things, all these things are from the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And what's odd about it is everybody's saying, man, oh, the earth is on fire. Man, these things, I can't explain them. Did you see how Charlene died? She got sandwiched in between those 18-wheelers. Did you see how this happened? All these things are supernatural, but you don't want to come to the conclusion that it's the Heavenly Father. He has a name. Narrow it down, man. All right? Stop being drunken by the wine of Babylon. These nations are coming out of the wine of Babylon. So why can't 2/3 of the Lord's people, man? Why can't you so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes, man? All right? We know why, but ultimately, the lost sheep, this is for you, man. All right? This is for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You got it, Doc.
Yeah. And
I got a little bit more after you.
God. And a major part of the reason why people are so ignorant to the times that we're in is because of Christianity. These Christians and these Christian pastors doing a horrible job of, warning the people and warning their congregation and letting the people know that everything that we see going on in the world can all be tied back to the Bible. These what they call freak accidents, okay? These nations having tension against one another, okay? Nations doing away from the dollar. All these things can be tied to Bible prophecy, but these Christians and these Christian pastors, they don't have the Holy Spirit, okay, to go into these scriptures and link the things going on in the world back to the scriptures. And so, the Christian church is another major part of why people are in such gross darkness. Okay, which is why, all right, speaking of casting down strongholds, okay, one of the major strongholds that the Lord is going to cast down and burn down with fire is the Christian church, all right, along with the Roman Catholic Church. Okay,
That's right. I got a precept for you. All right.
all right.
It's Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Right. So, what you see us doing right now, okay, and even starting with our apostles and elders and bishops on down to the least of us, speaking on current events, speaking on things happening in the world, and linking it all to the words of Yahweh Shema Shai. What we're doing is nothing new under the sun, because our forefathers in the men of the Lord of old were doing the same exact thing. Okay, speaking of the current events that was going on in their times, speaking on how the Lord was getting ready to destroy the kingdoms of their times. All right, and even going back, when you go back to, around 2,000 years ago, when the ancient Roman Empire was in power, okay, you had a lot of our forefathers back then, which the scholars call Christians, right? They were prophesying the downfall of Rome during that time.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. And so here we are in the modern day Rome, which is America, Babylon the Great. We're prophesying the downfall of this place. Okay, but this time we know for sure that after the Lord takes down this place, that's when the kingdom is going to be established. Right? That's when salvation is going to come. In this time.
That's right. Another quick one for you. 2 Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Mm-hmm. You see, and that with the brother Ray right there is a major reason why a lot of these Christians, especially Edomite Christians, don't want to have nothing to do with the Apocrypha, because the Apocrypha highlights exactly what biblical nation will be ruling in a lot of days before the second coming of who they call Jesus Christ. All right, the Edomites, Esau, right. Edom. Okay, the man of sin himself, the son of perdition. All right, if you can't see in this time that the Edomites are currently ruling here in these other days, man, you got issues. Okay, ultimately the Lord's not dealing with you. All right,
straight up,
man.
You back in the article?
Okay.
Got some more?
Yeah, one more paragraph.
All right.
All right. So going back to the article, okay, BricsPay, all right, BricsPay.com, and I'm gonna jump down to paragraph number 3. It says BricsPay principles and advantages. Okay, it says BricsPay sets benefits for a combination of traditional payment systems and new technologies, such as central bank digital currency, decentralized finance,
CBDC, which they've been trying to put in place for a while now, which is going to replace the dollar. It's going to be a digital currency, which we know that's going to lead to Revelation 13 and 16. But notice this is going on while other things are going on. That's why the Lord said, ultimately, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against many countries of wars, evil, pestilence. So you have not only the process of the de-dollarization going on, but you got wars and rumors of wars going on, earthquakes in diverse places, all right, political turmoil, you have inflation going on. All these things are going on simultaneously while these BRICS nations are gearing up to usher in their digital currency, man, all right? And we know what it's going to lead to. So we know these elites are going to pull a major false flag event to where it's either going to be a major EMP attack, power shutout, power outage, a major quote-unquote disaster event happens, or a T attack, all right? The list goes on and on. But ultimately, we know it's going to spiral downward to where all hell breaks loose and the Revelation 13 and 16 is ushered in. It's prophecy. It's going to happen. Either these things that we're speaking of, either they've come to pass already, they're currently coming to pass right now, or they're yet to come to pass, man. All right? You got it, huh? And I got a precept too.
Right. Because even You know, the five major countries that make up the BRICS nations. You know, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. When you go into it, all of those nations, in some way, shape, or form, are, you know, even though it appears in the flesh that, that they're going against America, and they're so-called going against, the powers that be and the agenda and things like that. But ultimately, even the BRICS nations are part of the agendas of the elites of Esau Edom.
That's right.
Okay, because even like when you look at the leaders of the BRICS nations, such as Putin over there in Russia, Xi Jinping of China, they're all rubbing elbows and shaking hands with the West. Okay, the West. They're rubbing
Yeah.
God, they're rubbing elbows with the leaders of the West. All right, and we ultimately know what the agenda of the West is. Okay, to the water, to basically hack into humans. Okay, using what technology, and so as this little paragraph goes into again, it says BRICS Pay sets benefits for a combination of traditional payment systems and new technologies. All right, what new technologies are they talking about? The Charagma, the CHIP. It says such as central bank digital currencies, decentralized finance, and tokenized assets, which in parentheses it says secured money, right? Peace and safety, right? It says BRICS Pay is an expansion of payment options for companies and citizens of participating countries, as
Right.
well as for the entire world in all existing and emerging payment solutions. You
Like
know?
I want to back you up because you made a good point when you said ultimately these BRICS nations are just pawns on the elite's chessboard.
Hmm.
All right, pawns on the elite's chessboard. Because ultimately, what would be the BRICS nations' agenda if they were to take in the power? Right? Say their agenda would come to full course. What would their agenda to be? To enslave you so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes. So this is just to back that up. You
Real
got it,
quick,
Doc.
just to make one last point, because look at China, for example. China is already technologically advanced in the world. They have 6G towers. Okay, they have a social credit system going on over there.
Yeah.
They have all types of different forms of surveillance. They have even like advanced surveillance cameras where they can read people's faces to ID them and things like that.
Yep.
They have AI robots, taking over different jobs and taking over different sectors of life over there in China. So literally, pretty much the only thing that the Chinese government needs now to have total control over their population is the Charagma.
Yeah.
Okay, and a BRICS nation is going to be another avenue of the Charagma being pushed out.
That's right. The scriptures tell you, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Yep.
Because these global elites, they have an agenda, but their minions, their organizations under them that they set up in this monopoly to try to control both sides, but it's really the Most High that's controlling both sides. All right, they haven't set up with their underlying agenda. So BRICS has the agenda of the global elites written all on it. This is Psalms 83, and I'll start at 2. For lo, thine enemies, and this is enemies plural, meaning more than one. It says, make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against our people, the Israelites, the hopeful elect, and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. And BRICS is no different from EU and NATO. All right? They have the agenda to keep you so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes in their system of captivity. But this time it's going to be with the Charagma inside of you, man. And you will be likened unto a useless eater. All right? But it said, thy enemies make a tumult against you. And if you're not trying to continue the kingdom of Israel, then you're trying to cut it off. And that's exactly what this nation of BRICS is assembling to do. All right? They're assembling to come with their own currency. They're not, is it written in their policy where they're saying they want to call upon the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, where they want justice for the righteous and repayment for the wicked? No, they have a digital currency set up, man. All right, they want to further the agenda and enslave you Israelites as well, man. So if they're not for the furtherance of the kingdom of heaven, they're seeking to cut it off. So like the brother made a good point, I just wanted to just back that up. These BRICS nations are operating under the agenda of the elites as well.
You got it. Just make one small point as well. So I remember about maybe a couple weeks ago or whatnot, I sent an article in the chat from naturalnews.com where it said, as of right now, 98% of central banks across the world throughout different countries are ready to implement a digital currency. 98%. Okay.
Man.
So pretty much the elites, that ultimately control all these central banks, they're just about ready to make their move towards the NWO. But as we know through the Spirit, all it's going to take is just one major event, one major catastrophe, crises, whatever you want to call it, or to to justify them, coming down with the hammer and making their move, okay, to go forward with the NWO. What you got there?
That's right. You got any more in that article?
That was pretty much it.
All right. And I just wanted to go into it because ultimately these nations, why these BRICS nations have been assembled is to fulfill prophecy. All right. And these nations have been drunken so long with the philosophies and doctrines of America. Therefore, these nations that say, you know what, we're tired of their policy, we're tired of their currency, we're tired of how they handle things. Let's operate under our own currency. And you see the reflection of that being shown throughout all the countries throughout the planet Earth, man. All right, even these African, quote unquote, African countries, man. This is Revelation 18:1. It says, "And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon is fallen, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." And that's ultimately the ending result of America, which in the scriptures is declared and identified as Babylon the Great. All right. So when this place falls, like it tells you, I believe in the book of Jeremiah, all right, the Arabians shall not pitch tent here anymore. There'll be a place for doleful creatures, all right, and things of that nature. But ultimately, this society is going to be for a memorial of the Most High's judgment. Just as Sodom and Gomorrah was, America is going to be written for that memorial. All right? It says, "For all nations have drunk of the wrath of Haran." Salakia. Revelation 18:3, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." And that's what you see throughout the planet Earth. When someone gets drunk, they tend to start indulging in things, all right, that they normally wouldn't. And that's what these nations of the planet Earth have been indulging in. Americanization, westernization, McDonald's on every corner, three-piece suits, technology, like the brother listed, all right, pseudoscience, and all these things. They've indulged in and made themselves a reflection of America. And when they went back to look in that mirror and they sobered up, they saw what the monster they became. And now they're trying to hurry up and say, okay, well, we're going to back out of their policies and create our own currency, man. All right? So it says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." And it was going into some of that in the article. All right, and it went into that in a definition of de-dollarization. Let's see if I can go back to that. I'll just let it pass. It was basically going into the imports and the exports that America deals in. All right, let me see if I can pull it up. It's kind of acting slow. All right. It says, what is the meaning of de-dollarization? It says the dollar, let's see, de-dollarization is a process of moving away from the world's reliance on the US dollar as the chief reserve currency. Once again, de-dollarization is a process of moving away from the world's reliance on the US dollar as the chief reserve currency. And that's what these BRICS nations have done. All right. They've moved away from the reliance on the U.S. dollars, and that's caused the U.S. dollar to decline in value, which in turn causes prices to go up of gas, of food in the stores. It also causes um, jobs to ultimately decrease. The unemployment rates, like the scriptures say, the grinding shall cease. Who's that? Shalom, Yahba Shemiel Shai, Barak Atah, abducted from the beyond. Shalom. Khan, this the spirit. I just posted an article about this. Khan, brother, Yahba Shemiel Shai, Barak Atah, Shalom to you. But yeah, that's basically, if you could picture it in a painting, it would be of a tug of war. You have the nations on one side, you got America on the other side. The nations on one side, America on the other side. But the nations have basically let go of that cord, and now you got America falling back into the abyss, and all these things are looming. It's falling back onto what? Inflation, unemployment rates, the prices of groceries going up, the sown places being unsown, all right? Victuals being so cheap that they should think they're in a good place, but then evil's growing. So all of this, you got to think about whose will is it? It's Yahweh Shem Shai's will to basically pull a plug on this place. If you got a sink filled with water, you got that stopper at the bottom that you pull and it goes boom, and then you pull it, all the water goes down. That's what the Lord is doing in this place. Is basically it's circling the drain. You got it,
I was just about to say that too.
You got it, right?
All right. What's the next one you
want to go into? I got one more scripture. Revelation 18, back in Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, and ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." And that's what the Lord is ultimately doing to his men on the planet Earth. We're not coming out of her and saying, well, hey, let's go get a passport and fly over to Ghana. No, we're saying let's spiritually come out of her. Romans 12 and 1 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we're coming out of this place and we're spiritually unplugging from the matrix. Now we go in these different establishments and they say, okay, well, that's the fake steak. Like in the Matrix, that's the fake steak. This is the Agent Smith. This is that. And now we're seeing this place for what it truly is, and we're able to spiritually renew ourselves and prepare for the evils to come. All right? You got to go to the one about the hurricanes. I just want to get that one, just touch on that real quick with a precept. In Shalom, the brother posted a precept. It says, Zephaniah 1 and 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hill. And if you look up Google stock market exchange or stock market graph, and it's going to show graphs of literally what it looks like hills. And that's the scriptures identifying biblical scriptures and prophecy with actual real-time live events in the planet Earth, the stock market exchange. And what it's saying is there's going to be a crashing from the hills, meaning there's going to be a crashing in the economy. Wall Street, Dow Jones, what's some other ones? So on and so forth.
S&P 500.
S&P 500. You're going to see people jumping out of those skyscraper buildings because what? There's been a crashing from the hills. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the tremors. We're seeing the shaking. We're seeing the leaks in a boat. And when you have a leak in a boat in the middle of an ocean, you go to plunge one leak, and then you think you patched that leak up, and then you got another one that springs up, and then you go to that one you think you patched, and the one that you patched up before springs up, and then it's coming all full force. And that's what's happening here in America. So what we're seeing is the stages of hell to come, which is a crashing from the hills, a destruction of the economy. The scriptures say he had laid unto himself thick clay. That's talking about the debt. Along with the unemployment rate, you have the debt ceiling in this place. America is filled with layers of trillions upon trillions of innumerable layers of debt. And it's all going to come full circle in this place. There's going to be a major crash. You got it, Doc.
All right. So this is another article from sinla.com. All right, Lord willing, y'all can see that in the purple strip at the top. sinla.com. And the article says, Cleco encourages customers to prepare for upcoming hurricane season.
That's right. And particularly in the state that we're in, particularly, there's a strong tempest and winds, hurricanes. But the scriptures are telling us that these things are coming to pass in real time. This article is not only warning us, but it's saying prepare for what's to come. All right, it's saying prepare for possible hurricanes, and hurricanes are indeed mentioned in the scriptures. Go ahead, huh?
It says, as the start of 2020, as the start of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season approaches, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has designated May 5th to May 11th, 2024 as National Hurricane Preparedness Week to raise awareness of the hazards posed by hurricanes and strengthen the nation's readiness before hurricanes form.
Right, so this is the Lord basically declaring that there's going to be a record-breaking hurricane season before it happens. So what are the prophets to do? We're to report on these things. We're to warn the people and edify them and say that these things aren't just regular events in the planet Earth. It's from the will of the Lord, and he's wanting his people to get right because hell is to come. This is 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. The Spirit of the Lord put it on Apostle Tahar to coin this year 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. But this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 6, and I'll read it in the NLT, and I'm going to get that word tempest. It's Isaiah 29 and 6. It says, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. So this is a warning. It says, thou shalt be visited. That means what? The Lord is going to do it. He's going to perform it. It's going to come to pass. And this is just an article that's warning and saying, hey, the Lord is going to visit you with storms and thunders and tempests. Now it says, Isaiah 29 and 6 in the NLT, I, the Lord of the heavens armies, will act for you with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with whirlwind and strong and consuming fire. So this is the Lord acting for us. The Lord is doing these things to act on our behalf because these judgments are showing forth that the Lord is coming to get us, man. So this is that word tempest in Isaiah 29 and 6. All right. And this is clear and straight to the point that hurricanes are mentioned in the scriptures, man. All right. This is ancient knowledge that's coming forth in real time in our day.
Strong's H 5591. First reading, Sa'ar.
Sa'ar.
Second reading, Sa'ara.
Sa'ara. It says Sa'ar. It says Strong's H 5591. Tempest, storm, whirlwind, tempest. Strong's definition. When you go to the Strong's definition on 2 columns below, it says a hurricane, storm, tempest, whirlwind. All right, you got it. You want to speak on it? You got it.
No, but I got a precept to back you up though.
You got it.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, you got it. You
Okay.
break it down. You got it, brother.
All right. This to back you up. This is Job chapter 37, verse 9. It says, out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. And literally, we see that every year here in America. Up north, towards the northern state, you have, blizzards that happen every year where it gets real cold. As a matter of fact, I think that was last year you had one up there in Buffalo last year. If not last year, then the year before, where you had that major blizzard. But, and as well as it said, Job 37 and 9, out of the south cometh the whirlwind. And as the brother had brought out, one of the whirlwinds of the Lord can be likened to hurricanes. Because literally when you look at a hurricane, it spins around violently, okay, in a big cloud. And you have all types of rain and thunder and lightning coming out of it, okay? And literally, hurricanes in America come primarily out of the south, out of the Gulf of Mexico, during the summertime.
Beautiful, bro.
Yep.
You on point now. You on fire, bro. That's right.
During the summertime, the Gulf of Mexico gets real hot. Okay, temperature getting up to the 90s and the 100s.
Got your precinct.
None. And all that heat and humidity, it basically forms hurricanes within the Gulf of Mexico, and then they make their way north towards different parts of Mexico or different parts of the Caribbean, such as Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, so on and so forth. And eventually they head towards the southeastern states of the United States, from Texas all the way to Georgia, okay, Florida, all right, and we get all these major hurricanes every year, all right, and that's ultimately the judgment of the Lord. You got that?
This is the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 3. The Lord Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord Yahweh, this is all caps, the Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet.
Yeah, so it's the Lord having his way in these different whirlwinds, whether it be tornadoes, typhoons, hurricanes, you name it. Okay, and ultimately we know that the Lord uses the chariots to control those different weather effects. Okay,
Right.
and there's even videos that you can find all throughout the internet where, like, inside of the eye of a hurricane or the inside of a tornado, it'll show you like actual chariots inside of them. Okay, chariots
Right.
of the Lord, so-called UFOs. So that's literally the Lord having his way within these different whirlwinds, tornadoes, hurricanes, you name it.
That's right, brother.
Okay.
That's right. You could, if you didn't have anything, you can go to the next article. We'll close it out. I think it was going into the power outages. But you're right.
All right. Then this is another article. This is from CNET.com. Okay, CNET.com. And the title of the article says, parts of the United States could face energy shortages and blackouts this summer. Okay, this summer referring to summer 2024.
Right. You're referring to possibly right now.
Yeah, God.
You got it, huh?
Yeah, because we basically just a few days away from the so-called summer anyway. It says, extreme summer heat increases the risk of power grid instability. Here are the regions in the United States that will be affected the most.
Right, and along with potential hurricane season, whirlwind. So all these things are looming, along with the BRICS nations establishing BRICS pay to de-dollarize this current society, which will lead to inflation, unemployment, no food on the shelves, and you name it, man. All right. So this is a gradualism of a domino effect of things going on in prophecy. You got him a lot. And I got a real quick one. This is Romans 9:17. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. So the Lord is doing this to show his power throughout the earth. It's a bigger thing with the Lord. The Lord is not just into tit for tat, going back and forth, verbal arguments. All right. The Lord is into judging kingdoms and taking down kings, man. The Lord don't do that little simple back and forth. No, man. Just look, I'm gonna judge the whole matter as it is. Let's nuke the place, take my elect out of it, and make my name famous throughout the planet Earth. That's how the Lord's gonna do it, man. But for that same purpose, you see these articles going out to where the Lord establishes his judgments and showing you, hey, you can keep believing that this is Pharaoh or not, but I hardened Pharaoh's heart for my purpose to establish my name in the planet Earth. 744. You got it, right?
All right. And then it continues to go on. In the article, it says, certain areas of the United States will face an elevated risk of energy shortages this summer.
Will.
Yes.
Not maybe, not possibly, will. That means it's going to happen.
Yes.
So if you don't want to listen to anything that we have to say, all these beautiful precepts that go out from the apostles on down to the least of us, all this prophecy that goes out, if you don't want to listen to that, listen to this article from CNET.com. All right? You got it, huh?
It says, certain areas of the United States will face an elevated risk of energy shortages this summer, according to a seasonal grid reliability assessment from the North American Electric Reliability Corporation.
That's right.
All right, and then it goes on to say, the report highlights regions of North America that could face grid reliability issues thanks to too little supply of or too much demand for power. And it says, while this year's summer grid outlook is better than last year's, there are still some areas of the United States that will fall under elevated risk of energy shortage and blackouts during unexpected extreme heat events. Let's see. Pretty much the main points.
Right. And I believe the brother was going into it, that Louisiana's on that, but nevertheless, this the precept I wanted to bring out. This is Exodus 10 and 21. I'll start at verse 20, because as we brought out in Romans 9th chapter, the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart for the same purpose. And that's why you ultimately see these works going out throughout the planet Earth. It says, Exodus 10 and 20, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt. Now just put that in your mind as in spiritual Egypt, which is America. The brother just read the article that there's going to be darkness over the land of Egypt, which is America. All right? Spiritual Egypt. The Lord tells you in 2nd Esdras that I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. It says, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So ultimately in that time, the Lord says, hey, all these things, these judgments are going on, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Alas, alas, that day is great. It is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So the Lord always puts that exemption in there for the righteous to be saved, man. We don't have anything to worry about. And as long as we serve Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Palawa Shamar, all right, behave, okay, then the Lord is going to cover us in that day, man, even through death, man. Oh, death, where's thy sting? The Lord is going to have our backs in that day, man, all right? Whether we live, we are for the Lord. Whether we die, we are for the Lord. Where shall we go? You got it, up.
The Lord kept y'all with power this past weekend.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I remember brothers had posted.
Beautiful example. We were talking about that too. Mm-hmm. That's heavy, bro. Yeah. You got it.
I got it. End off from here. Got a precept. All right. This is in Revelation. Speaking of, the extreme heat and as well the upcoming blackouts, right? This is in Revelation. This is Revelation chapter 16, and I'm gonna start at verse 8, and just read down a little bit in this chapter. All right, Revelation chapter 16, verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun. Okay, upon the sun. And power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. Verse 9, and men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Yahweh Shema Shai, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. Right. So a lot of these, like the extreme heat that we've been seeing over the past few years, especially last summer. Okay, because I remember even last summer, you basically had like extreme heat temperatures, like record-breaking heat temperatures all across the country. That's going back to last summer 2023. And so as we're reading up here, right here, Revelation 16, all this extreme heat and these hot summers that we've been facing the past few years, that's all being done by the Lord through the angels. Okay, the Lord. You want to say something?
Yeah, and it's ultimately that's going into the nuclear missiles, but it's ultimately a precursor of what's to come. The Lord is showing you actually what his power is, even at a low level. Because when you walk outside like in 90 degree, 100 degree weather, like we had over this past summer, right? It was record-breaking heat. When you walk outside in 100, 105 degree weather, you literally like, Lord, please, can you give me some type of shade? So how much more when the Lord rains down those nuclear missiles, man? So the Lord is saying, well, hey, we're going to turn it up a notch all the way until this place is lit with fire, man. And this is just a precursor of what's to come. We see this extreme heat mixed with hurricanes, mixed with food shortages. Come on, man. All right? Something major is to come in this place. And it's going to take a strong mind to proceed in this thing. It's not for the weak coming up. These next movie scenes we're going into, if you're weak-minded, you will be through. You got it, huh?
It says, verse 10, Revelation 16, verse 10, and the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast. Okay, and what beast is that talking about? The revival of the fourth beast, the ancient Roman Empire. What is the revival of the fourth beast? America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, and what is the seat of the revival of this beast system? America. Okay, because when you go into the very next chapter, Revelation 17, speaks about that great whore that sitteth upon the beast. Okay, the scarlet colored beast, and that great whore is America.
That's right.
So it says, Revelation 16, verse 10 again, and the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, Babylon the Great, America, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, full of darkness, which can go into what? Blackouts, as a brother went into. Okay, so we see here in prophecy that these upcoming blackouts are also a part of the will of the Lord. He's going to do that through his angels.
Yes.
You know, the Lord's going to use his angels to bring forth scorching heat and record-breaking temperatures over the summer to break forth a lot of these blackouts. Okay, and it says, verse 11, Revelation 16, verse 11, and blaspheme the power of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. Yeah, and why are people going to be in pain because of the upcoming blackouts? Because, you know, especially these blackouts come during the summer, right? All right. If people are going to be facing blackouts, and that means what? They won't have AC. They won't be able to turn their fans on. Okay.
No Wi-Fi.
Yep. No
Can't
Wi-Fi.
pay for anything.
Yep.
People pay for stuff on their phones nowadays. They got their card on their phone. You won't have service to pay for anything. So that's going to drive your mind to looting. That's going to drive you to just have to get it how you live, so to speak, how they say it in Louisiana. Get it how you live, which means resorting to a brute beast, which the society is already in the mindset of that, but it's another lesson. The Lord willing, this message was edifying. We're going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh, double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of the double honors. Peace and blessings. Until next time, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Baba Ba, Shalom, Mighty Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Until next time, Shalom.